points for loosening, because the 20 diesel was seriously hard. Oh, these are grand, and these don't need to be tight. You have 8 of them. Where can they go at the end of the day? Right, it's just great to see them coming off handy. Lovely. Try the other side as well. See, are we as lucky here? Lovely. So we'll have to do half shaft seals, brakes and all that. That'll make life easier. The lift isn't working, and this is the hydraulic lift, and the oil is very milky looking on the dipstick, so I'm going to let some of it out anyway into this and let more out then if I need it. I think it'll need new oil, and yeah, I'd say the valve in the hydraulic pump is stuck, so I have a new one there. Now there could be a massive gush here, I mightn't be able to contain it, so I might just get another basin ready to go. I get this ready to pull in behind it. A little drip, there's a bit of water in the bottom, that's usually normal. Just try and contain it and keep this drip. I want it to be able to go back in if I have to put it back in, yeah. Not too bad. Yeah. We'll wash your hands. No point having gloves on that when there's that much coming out. Right, so the next thing will be taking off both of these side plates here. Yeah. Yeah. And see what's happening with that valve in the bottom of the pump. Will be able to flush out the bottom of the rear end here as well. Yeah, yes, Christ. That's tight. A bigger one. Looks like it is. Hasn't been off in a while, has it? Yeah, they haven't been off in a while. Okay, what harm? So usually it's the valve that goes into the bottom of the pump. The shaft on it gets bent. Sometimes people take off the top lift cover, forget about the valve, and it bends the shaft and they put it back. That's all it takes. tried turning the PTO there, which goes through the pump, to see if I could get the lift arms to lift with the lift lever on, and it ain't moving, so that's all right. It's just so simple. The valve pushes into the pump, lift arms go up, comes out, lift arms go down. So my money is on that anyway. Yeah, that's all. It was off at some point anyway. It's the later style here. It's not stuck anyway. But it's not pushing in enough, so it probably just needs an adjustment. That's it out. It needs to go in more. Right. If I could push that in with a piece of timber and then turn the PTO and see is that the issue. Well, it's not going to do it now with all the hydraulic oil going out of it, but I'll replace that anyway, and we'll flush out this. I think that is something that needs to be done anyway. We'll be able to get new oil for it then, but my money is on that, and a bit of an adjustment here because it can go in further. I can feel it there, so you can adjust them on these, loosen them off, and probably pull it towards the front of the tractor. Or I think that's what I want. Yeah, definitely. I could throw a bit of that oil back in if I wanted, just enough to test the lift arms and try and keep that pulled forward. That could be, but I will be replacing that anyway. It's a little bit hard for me to bring the camera in there, but I'll get a torch. I'll find them handy here. I'll get a torch. It's inside actually. We'll show you later on. But yeah. So there's a bracket on it there as well, holding the whole lot together. So we'll take that out. An aluminium bracket keeps the two forks pulled in again. That little valve. And that's the kind of gunge that you see there. You know, so we'll be able to flush all that out. It's not too bad actually. Fish something here out. An old dipstick, broken. But that's okay. Everything else just feels like gunge, that's all. Yeah, I probably should be wearing gloves for this, but to be honest with you, they only get destroyed anyway. Yeah, I'll get the air gun with the bottle, and fill it full of kerosene and diesel. I'll be able to spray it all in around there and get it all flushed out. Get that new valve fitted. Get that control fork adjusted. And throw it into sup of oil and then see, should sort it. Let's put my money where my mouth is. Threw a sup of oil in. I threw a bit of timber in to try and get that valve pushed in. I don't know, is that coming out in the video, but I should do it near the lift. Simple as that. I'll pull out the timber, it'll probably go down. It goes to show it just needs adjustment. There you go. So we'll fit that new valve because they're so cheap, and they really do make it a lot more reliable and responsive to the lift arm here. So I have it there, so may as well fit it. So that's perfect. At least I know that that's all it is. So let this back out again. There we are. There we go. What is it? Harry Ferguson said, "Beauty in engineering is that which is simple, has no superfluous or extra parts, and serves exactly the purpose." And to be able to troubleshoot that, simple as that, as a valve not going in fully into the pump, is mighty. So we'll get that sorted, we'll get it adjusted, and we'll get it working. Okay, so the other side is off here. And that is the little bolt we have to take out there. That lad there. He's in a bracket. I'll turn up the light a little bit there. Maybe it'll help. He's in a bracket there that's keeping the two forks together. And then it's going down into a valve. Kind of T-shaped valve. So that is what we got to do. Now the light is way too tight. So that is our mission. I've the other side out and ready to go. So it's just going to be a matter now of getting that side out. 7/16. It's a very fine thread. It can be a little bit awkward to fit, you notice it, yeah? But you will not get that valve out without those bolts out. Now, I'm not going to actually take that completely out because I think we should be able to get the valve out with just one of them in. One of the bolts out. Now, it's the kind of job that will cut the wrists and the knuckles off you. Okay, on one side out. I do. And the other side now. Seems to be a little bit stuck in the fork. Move it back a bit maybe. It's a matter of getting them both inspection holes there. Oh God, the hands are going to be cut to bits. So I have one leg out. Normally, there we are. The valve should be free to come now. There we are. Have it out, just a matter of fishing it up out of the way. It's got that long bar on it, that's the only problem. Yeah. Okay. So it's got that long bar. that goes into the pump, so I might have to drop the pump, but I wash my hands and I can't stop recording. There's a long bar that goes in that turns it very slightly to stop it from sticking. So I might have to drop the pump, which is no harm, I don't mind, I'll get a new gasket for it. But I just said I would try at least and get it off that way. This is why your lift wasn't working. It's always, it's 60% of the time it's this every time. I know that doesn't make any sense, but that's their bio there. The shaft is bent and it doesn't want to go in straight, so it doesn't go in. So that is it. That's your issue. So I have a new one of them. Not worth straightening it. They're cheap. They're not expensive. It's just a matter of fitting it and the job is out. Simple as that. That's all it is. That shaft is bent. Yeah, that lad there with no wear on it as well. Make all the difference in the world. So, we'll get him fitted. But first what we'll do is we'll flush out the rear and get all of that gunge out. We'll fit him, put in the drain bung, put in new oil, that'll adjust the handle for up and down, and that should sort the problem. What I do is I shorten this spring because I can see there now I have the new valve fitted. And these springs get weak over time, and this is the spring that pulls the control fork into, pulls the valve through that's attached to the control fork into the pump, closes off a hole in it basically, and it sends it up the oil up to the ram. So by shortening this spring, you end up with more of a pull on the valve. So to shorten it, what I do is I tap it down. I've tapped it down a good bit already, and I just keep this opened up, then keep bending this out. But I just want to make sure that they're awkward to get on. One end is attached on the ram, and then the other end is on the control fork. So I'm going to leave that for the control fork. I'm going to try and get that onto the ram, and we'll see. There's no point to me recording trying to fit it because you won't be able to see it. Okay, so I've adjusted it backwards, and we now have the valve going in and out fully. It wasn't. So give you a quick look. It is dark in there. Bring up the lighting a bit. So that's it. The valve out and the valve in. It wasn't going in. Try and pull it in more now. It seems to. It can't go in anymore. So that's the adjustment I do on them, and then preliminary adjustment anyway to get it working. That valve has to go in fully for that lift to lift at the right speed. It should be like, and have the right lifting capacity. So that is good. I'm happy with that. So it's just going to be a matter now of flushing it out. I said I'd flush it out after I fitted the valve because I don't want that to go into the pump where the valve goes in, so I thought that would seal it off. By lifting up your lever, pushing the valve in, and then go and do a bit of a flush job, knowing that nothing will go in there. So I'm delighted with that. It was an easy fix. Dirty job, but look, you just have to get stuck in. Yeah, so let's get it flushed out. Let's get the bung back in. I have two new gaskets for them side panels there and covers, and we'll get it all bolted back up, get some new oil ordered, throw it in, and it should be good to go. So I just want to show what's going on with the hydraulic pump. So that people might get a better idea, because I can't really record what's going on in the back end on the tractor because it's too dark, and when I put the work lamp on it just flashes on the screen. So this is your control fork, and that's in under your top lift cover, and this here is where this cam rubs here off your lever. So when you turn the lever, this will rub against that, and it's meant to push it, it's meant to kind of push it forward and push this in to the pump, and then the pump will pump the oil up into the ram, right? So what happens here, as we've seen with this particular valve, the bent shaft on it, is if that is bent, this don't want to push in. Don't want to push it. Right? You straighten it, and it does all of a sudden. So that you have two options. You can take this apart, take it apart, squeeze that, pull out your pin, get that off, and you can straighten up this shaft, right? So we'll have a little look at that here, right? Just want to hold it in a way that's not going to go break or anything. We'll get a snouty pliers and a kind of a hooked pick. We'll just get a look and see, because you can buy these without this T-piece on the end. That doesn't usually cause any bothers. That's strong enough. There you go. That's one way to do it. I forgot the spring is so powerful on it. And you're left then with the valve, spring, and split pin. This comes down through here. Now I've taken this apart and straightened it already, so you can actually see it's straightened up fairly well. It doesn't always work out that you can straighten them, you know. So, but that's all I do with them. If you don't have the part and you need to get it working fairly lively, you can take it apart. But I prefer to buy them new because they're not expensive. Then a punch. Let's make sure that it's going right the whole way up there. Doesn't matter which way this goes, because there's little splits in it there on both sides for the split pin. Push it down, push the split pin through. After you've done a bit of straightening work, twist it then until it goes into one of them splits, or slits I should say, or slots, whatever you want to call it, and just open it then wide, and that is it. If you want to do the repair work yourself, that's all I did with it. So I'm going to be giving this back to the owner, this particular part, because it's functional again, but I just said that I would fit a new one because this obviously is worn, and you can see where it's on the dark patch there where it's been rubbing for a long time. So I just said, for the sake of about 20 or 30 euro, I think it's nearer 30 euro, I said we would go and replace it. But that is a perfectly it's probably good enough to work again. For some reason the little lads there, they face downwards, so that's the problem with most of these systems, is when it's actually, when that shaft is bent, this is going to be straight, but this is going to be bent at an angle, and it's not going to want to go in, as you can see. But once it's straight, lift goes up, lift comes back. And another thing, when that is straight, when that is bent, your spring is attached on here. So I'll just go and get one of them springs and I'll show you now another little trick. What I've had to do with these, this is a spring right? And this fits in that hole there. So it's okay getting this on. That's easy enough, but this goes onto the back of the ram in under. You don't have that much space, so when you're pulling it, the hook, as you'll see, likes to go down, and you need that hook facing the other way. So it's a little bit awkward, but look, it's doable. But what I have to do with these springs in every case is shorten them, because they do get weak over the years and they stretch. So I shorten this, as I've probably shown already in this video. I shorten that by tapping it, holding it in the vise there, and tapping this direction and shorten it, and just bend that hook, because that's going to start bending inwards, bend it outwards with the flowers. So that's just another little trick for making sure that when you lift up this to the top, right, that's it to the top, like so. This is it for a TVO or a petrol engine, not the diesel, but it's the same cam in here, right? That's going to push attempt to put pressure on there, and that's going to get this, it's meant to push it inwards. And with your spring then attached on, that's usually weak. It's sometimes, if the shaft in that valve is a little bit bent, right, take it out a little bit, it's just not strong enough to pull in. So shorten that, and that's exactly what I've done on the tractor here. I'll try and give you a look with a smaller torch rather than the work lamp, so you can see the spring there. Now I'm going to try and show you where it's attached. There, that's your ram. That's your ram. There's your drive pinion bearing there. It looks like a good nick. To take that out, I'll just move the camera in my hand here a little bit. To take them out, you take out the ring of bolts, and you see the threaded hole there. You put a bolt in there, and there's another one of them the other side. And then when you put a bolt in there and tighten it in, it actually pulls the whole assembly out. And that's already pre-torqued there with that strange kind of, those two kind of lock nuts there. So we're going to give everything a good wash out, because you can see the stuff, see that yellowy kind of stuff. We're going to get that all out of there, wash that bear and wash all that stuff on those lock nuts. They're all there to preload that bearing. So as you can see there now, it's a bit like cream of mushroom soup, but that's the way they all are, really. That's the way. There's nothing surprising there whatsoever. In fact, it's actually one of the better ones I've seen. Oil like that coming out of these is very, very normal. And some people would say, oh, you know, it's very bad and all of that. Like, condensation builds up with the heat of all the gears on the inside of the casing, especially up top, and as it cools, it forms to water. It turns to water, and it starts making your oil milky. It's, you know, you could leave your tractor in a shed all its life, never have water getting in from leaving it outside, and it's still going to do that, you know. So the only thing you can do is every couple of years, you know, change the oil or keep an eye on the dipstick for check the color of the oil. So what I noticed yesterday, when I started freeing everything up in there and I was working the lever here, was that this just wasn't going back in enough, and that's why I started shortening that spring. So I'll try and hold the torch and the camera in one hand. It's got to go back in fully, simple as that. It's got to come out. Coming out is usually never a problem with these, they'll always, it's the getting them. There you go, she's fully out there and she's fully in. You put your hand behind there and push, it won't go in anymore. That's what you need, the full range of movement, so that when you're ploughing, we'll say for example, you're going to set your depth roughly, say there, and then what'll work then is your toppling pushing on this. If your plough point, like my hand here, hits that mat there, imagine that mat is the root of a tree or a stone, that is going to go putting a lot of pressure on the top link. And there's a shaft in there, and that shaft is directly attached to that control fork that we've seen there on the bench. This control fork here, further up, it's attached to that. And what that'll do is, when it hits a stone, it'll just give it a little nudge. It'll lift the plough or the implement over the stone or over the root of a tree, and then as soon as it goes past it, the pressure goes off the spring, and this will return back to where it was, and the lift will fall back down to where you've set. So there's a little bit of adjustment needed on that. I've got it adjusted fairly well. We'll know better when the engine is running, but that lift is working now. That is going to work. I turned the PTO there, threw some oil into it and turned the PTO. This is an earlier 1952 TVO pump, and it's got its pressure release valve on the pump. So the later ones, such as the one I'm working on being 1955, have them more, they're easier to access. The pressure release valve is here. You screw that out, and there is a spring and a little kind of a shaft and a ball on the end of it, and the spring keeps the ball pushed up again the end. But this is pressurized with oil, so if you're asking these lift arms to lift too much, that ball will be pushed back towards the spring, and it will allow the oil to bypass. When the ball comes back, it'll uncover a hole, and that's how it saves your lift. So sometimes them springs get a little bit weak over time, so what you do is you screw out that square bone there, and you might put a washer on it, but you didn't hear that from me. That's not going to be in the workshop manual at all. If you put too much washers, your pressure release valve will not work, and you could end up blowing the back out of your ram, as can happen. They're strong enough to do that. So that is the workings of the hydraulic pump. Very simple. If your lift isn't working and you have your PTO turning, that's usually the first thing. Some people don't realise you have to have the PTO working, because the PTO shaft goes right through the pump, inside, in one side and out the other. And that's how it works. It's a flat 4, 2 pistons, over and back, like I suppose a Volkswagen Beetle engine really. When it comes out like that, it sucks in oil. When it goes back in, pushes in oil, like a little engine. And so that is when it's not working, and your PTO is turning and your pump is turning, it's usually just that. There's nothing else that can go wrong with them. They're fed in there. It's very, very simple. They're a constant pumping system. There's a hole in the back of the ram, and when the piston comes up full, it uncovers a hole, and it just keeps pumping out and keeping the piston up. So hopefully that will help explain what's going on in the back, because it's a bit hard to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and clean up them gasket surfaces there on each side. I should have 2 new gaskets here that I bought because they're so cheap, and they're really good quality. I know that from having them before. Yes, I can go and make them, but to be honest with you, they're so cheap, it's actually, you're better off buying them. And clean up the little covers that go on the dipstick here. There's a bit of an old one in there. But first, I'm going to get my air gun with the bottle, the can on it. And I'm going to put a mix of diesel and kerosene in that. Good ½ litre of it. And I'm going to cover all that up with a rag, and I'm going to actually flush it all out. But since this drain barrel, or whatever you want to call it, tub is full, I'm going to do the washing into this one, and we'll come back when we have that much done, and we'll start cleaning up surfaces then. So I have my mask on, I have my bottle full, I have the other inspection hole covered with rags, and I have them shoved up under the seat because I want all of the pressure to go down through the drain hole. So what I'm going to try and do here is try and keep most of that vapour. As you can see, it's going to be fairly vapoury in there. And now we take a break. That is going to go into the eyes and everything. But that should do a good little job. And then I'll be able to get in with some white paper and just give it a good swipe and encourage it to try and come out the drain hole. It's very, very steamy. I'm going to try and get into it from the back as well. It is better probably to do this outside. I'm going to open the shed doors in a minute. We're draining away anyway. That's what we want to hear and see. And do the same the other side. So I have the compressor filled there to about 100 psi. So it is good and powerful. Whoa. So I'm going to open the shed doors because it looks like the whole place is on fire. Whew. Some machine. Have to give it to it. Some piece of kit. We'll just come back there in a few minutes to let this just blow away. See if these gaskets are going to fit well. I remember before that they fitted fairly well. Some of these new gaskets just don't. So it's all cleaned down. Ah, that's going to fit. Perfect. And the thick bit there goes on the bottom. So we'll clean down these. And we'll clean down the, oh, there's a few holes in it. Lovely quality gasket paper that. If I could buy sheets of that, I'd be delighted. Yeah, so there's not going to be any problem there. They're lovely quality. You won't need any gasket glue or later on them. Or any that Indian head or Permatex stuff at all. That should do the trick nicely. There's no seal in here. There is on the 35s, on the Ferguson 35s and on the Massey Ferguson. So what I usually do is just find the best one you can. But that one wasn't leaking before, so I can't see it leaking again. Another thing I want to talk about here is oil level on these. Some people will tell you, yes, the dipstick is there, but some other people will tell you that when you take out that bolt there, that's a good oil level. I think it ends up being a little bit below the full, but the way I look at it is fill it up to the full, and if there's issues, well, you'll have to sort them out. But I just personally prefer to have as much oil as I can in the back end. They're old enough, but I know some people say just take out the lowest bolt and that's your oil level. I don't know. I think that's there for a reason. But anyway, yeah, we can go and fit these now, and that should be it. That's dripping away there, so we can fit the. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just get a bit of white paper, and we'll just give everything just a last wipe out with some clean paper, and I'll have a feel around the drain bung and make sure there's no little bits, dirt and stuff. Then when I'm happy, I'll go and fit these. Okay, so after pushing this around the back end as much as I could, this is all I could get, the dirt I could get, and that's perfectly acceptable. So we're going to start gearing up for fitting all this. The gasket surfaces are all cleaned. It's just going to be a degreaser wipe on each side, and we should be good to go. Degreaser wipe and some dry white paper, and it'll be ready then for some new oil. Lovely. I also gave all of that area a bit of a wash there with the gun, the last bit of diesel, just to clean things up. And I also soaked a few other bolts as well that we are going to need to have ready to remove, like the half shafts and stuff like that. So that's going to fit something like that. So I think that. So I think we're talking something like that, isn't it? Point slightly towards you there. So probably something like that. I think that's looking good. There's no footboards in the tractor, so don't have to worry about them. Lovely stuff. Okay, so we're going to run them in with the gun. I'm going to get our 11/16 on the socket ready to go. Lovely. It's as simple as that. That gasket should be enough to seal that. It's a good quality one. It was very timid, saying no. We probably need a bit of something to help. Lovely. I'll wipe our stick. And there we go. Same the other side. Such good material in them, like. They clean up that metal, like. Just never going to see the likes of it again, no. Simple as that. Same with these castings here. Clean up lovely. And kind of alloy, they're lovely to work with. Now, this can be a little bit more tricky because you have to get the PTO selector in. And I think you have to get this right here as well. So what I'll do is I'll put a bolt in without the gasket, bolt two in without the gasket, and we'll see. I usually get it wrong, and I have a feeling we're wrong there because that's very close to that. Matter of just feeling your way. I know there shouldn't be, maybe there is right. Let's see, is that right? If it is, then we'll know. Keep it in neutral anyway. Okay. I'll try and keep that from not turning. Take it out. So putting that there, like so. Tick bit on the bottom, like so. Make sure we've got engaged. See what we're at now. That looks okay so far. We'll know in a minute if it's working or not anyway, because I think that lower one is a spanner job. They're already tight, so don't have to worry about them. We'll get a spanner for as well, actually. We'll get that bottom one spannered in. Let's check one more time. Oh, we're gone wrong. We're gone wrong. I think. Yeah, that's hitting that. Oh yeah, that happens. Must have just hopped out as we pushed everything together. It's no big deal. I usually have to do it a few times to get it right anyway. A little bit awkward with the wheel in the way, but sure. I'll do this one more time now and see what's happening. See if we can. Now I think that's in. You just got to get the word lined up. No, it's not. Somewhere there in the middle. No. Just tighten in there and see, maybe it's engaged for some reason. I thought I put it into neutral. Looks very loose to me. Oh yeah, let's go again. We'll get it. Neutral should be there. That should be just about catching, is it? Take all off again. seems to be in there now. Throw another bolt to see. I don't know. It seems to be getting in the way a little bit. We'll throw it in and see. Ah. Okay, into neutral. Just pull forward. Try and keep everything lined up as best as possible, apart from the lever. The problem is the whole thing has to come out to put in the gasket. Make sure the thick bit's at the bottom. And it's not, one more bolt hole over. Like that. Right, that should be nearly right there. Should be it. Has it jumped out again? It's only a matter of just being patient now. This bloody long to do it. Anyway, I'll come back when I have that in gear and we'll show you it all working. It's just a bit awkward there with the camera stand and all of that, but here you go, selecting beautifully. So with that, that is our hydraulic pump problem sorted, because I can test it with the PTO. I did, obviously there's no oil in it now. So it's dripping away there, wiped it out, happy enough. So I'm going to just put the drain bung into the parts washer. I'm going to have a look at the sealing washer on it, it's usually copper. I'm going to anneal the washer, so that means heat it up on gas, soften it, and then I'm going to tighten it, fit it, and that'll hopefully get it to seal. Okay, so that is about it for this evening's video. Again, I want to try and keep all of this video just to do with that hydraulic problem, and we'll get some oil in it. We'll be able to turn the PTO once it's out of gear, and that'll turn just the pump, as I showed you on the bench there. The PTO shaft goes through it, so I have the cap off it there. So it's just a matter of lifting that lever up like it is there, turning that, and lift arms should go up now with new oil, and that should be it. Once we get it running, we might have to make some minor adjustments to this lift lever here on the 4 bolts that allow it to move forward or back and put it working earlier or later and all of that. So we'll make them final adjustments if we have to, but for now at least that is hopefully another issue sorted.